Good afternoon, everybody. I have a very special, heartfelt video today. This is for my very best friend, Pinkerton, or as you guys may know him as Pic the Pagan, if you follow him on his YouTube channel. And he's a very devout worshipper, or works with, in my case, because he used a term work for worship, of the Greek god Apollo. Now, I've been wanting to do a video for him for quite some time, and I've just redone the top part of my altar, especially for this video, to bring my Apollo statue in. So this is going to be a video all about Apollo, and it's also going to be a bit about me and Apollo and soft polytheism. When it comes to Apollo, just for myself only, and what offerings you can offer him, what I found out about him today whilst watching Apollo documentaries and bits I find out on YouTube and Google, and the reminders I get about him. And so it's going to be kind of a big topic on Apollon. I especially redid my altar today for the video, and I will be doing an update video on Aphrodite because a lot has changed in regards to that, especially where soft polytheism is concerned. So I'll be doing one on that. So back on topic. So we're going to start off at the birth of Apollo. So as you know, Apollo was born in the island of Delos to Letone. He has a twin sister called Artemis. And he's also known as the Python due to he slayed the Python. And I know that the Python games were made in honor of him. And he also, I personally see him as a bisexual deity. He also has a special relationship with the prince Hyacinth. That's why the hyacinth flowers are very sacred to him. Him and Zephyrus, the wind god, was playing a game. I think it was of discus, and he accidentally knocked Hyacinth on the head with a discus as Apollo threw it way too hard, and he felt guilty, and Hyacinth ended up dying in his arms. So he created the most beautiful of melodies on his lyre, because he's also the god of music, and which were full of sadness and, you know, passion, and, you know, everything that he loved about him. He really poured his heart and soul into the music that he dedicated to him, and the hyacinth flower became a symbol for him. So anyone that works with Apollo would always associate the hyacinth flower with him, and also sunflowers as well. And he's also the god of prophecy, the god of oracles, and Pythia, the oracle Delphi, was actually one of his oracles that he would speak through to give followers of Greece, or residents of Greece, messages which he would speak through the oracle, which the priest would translate, translate what the oracle was saying, and it'd be up to the Greeks to interpret what the messages would be about. I know that Emperor Nero went to go speak to the oracle of Delphi, and Apollo didn't really like Nero at all. He absolutely despised him, and so eventually Nero died. And, you know, the oracle at Delphi gave Nero a message, like saying, you know, you be careful, you know, Apollo doesn't like you, you know, that sort of thing. And he did eventually got outthrown by like a 70-year-old man, so he did eventually completely end his reign. So so the offerings that you could offer Apollo would be like sunflowers, wolves, which I do have right there, wolf, and limestone, citrine crystal, lemon citrine crystal, roses. I've offered to light rose petals, sunflowers, seashells. This was from like ages ago when I was actually working with him. And dolphins are actually his sacred animals, a swan. So anything kind of like swan imagery, like this candle, or dolphins. He's very much connected to the Milky Way as well. And I know that there's going to be a lot of debate on this, but you know, a lot see Apollo as not being anything to do with the god of the sun, that everyone would see as Helios, but one of his epithets is actually Phoebus, and when you call him Phoebus Apollo, it means his connection to the sun. So as a kid, when I first heard about Apollo through documentaries I was watching of him when I was still at school, I would always refer to him as a sun deity. So to me, he's always kind of represented the sun. I know there was a huge debate about it on Amino, but with Amino, they don't really allow you to believe in what you personally would want to believe in. So if you personally believe that Apollo is the sun, then he's a sun god to you. If you believe that Helios is a sun god, then Helios is a sun god to you. But I've always personally, I've always had him connected to the sun and the golden light as well. So what I've initially found out today about Apollo was that he has a connection to roses. There's actually a rose in tribute to Apollo called Eros-Apollon, which I found on Google and on Google Images, because I wanted to know if he was connected to roses in a sort of way, because he also has a connection to Libra, because there is also an astronaut called Apollo. So I wanted to know if he was like connected to roses, and I came across on Google Images that there is a rose dedicated to Apollo called Eros-Apollon. It was like a tribute to him. So you could actually offer him roses. I know that I personally see the Roman religion the same as the Greek religion, but that's just me personally. I know that he became a very important deity throughout the Roman Empire. And so when the when the Greeks were all given Roman names, just what I personally believe in, and if you don't, that's perfectly fine. They kept him remotely the same. They didn't change like anything about him. He became a very, very important deity, even in the Roman religion. And, you know, I do think that he's very much into self-care. I think he is all about, you know, taking care of yourself, being happy, not only physically, but mentally as well. I think he's very much interested in your mental health, well-being, and not only wants to keep you safe and happy. And I do believe that he's very protective of people that work with him, especially when it comes to, you know, their mental health. And I think he really, because he's a very gentle God, he really would have a gentle impression on your mind, and also in your heart and in your spirit. And I do feel that a lot of people that generally have mental health problems would find a really good connection to Apollo, because with him being very sweet and very caring and very gentle towards humans, he would have a very, very good impression of the mental health. He generally is one of those deities where, you know, you can turn to him and he will be there for you to have a shoulder to cry on, because he's been through so much heartache, you know, in his spirit. He generally understands, you know, human emotion, and so he generally has a really strong connection with humanity in that sense. He is very protective. He can be like a father, a brother, a friend, you know, everything. You know, if you're interested, you know, in the whole God spousing thing, which I'm not really against anything, he can also be a lover, you know, and also give you boyfriend tips and even girlfriend tips, you know, because obviously he knows women as well as men. So he can give you quite a lot of things, and a lot of, you know, answers to a lot of questions that you may have. And, you know, it can be very caring and very nurturing and very loving. You know, if you want a brother figure in him, he'll come out. If you want a father figure in him, he'll come out. If you want a boyfriend in him or whatever, you know, he'll come out, and he'll represent so many different areas, and every single area would be answered and cared for. So he also does have a connection to the Milky Way and also the stars. And if you also see him as being a universal deity, which I see as Aphrodite, which I'll be discussing more of Aphrodite in another video of her. He would also have like a connection to the moon, you know, as well as the sun, the stars, like the whole entire universe. But that's when you go see deities as being universal. They will cover, you know, every aspect. So instead of it being kind of separated on different deities, it'll all just be on one. So I will talk about a bit of Apollo and me. So Apollo and me started when I were in school. I was watching a documentary on Apollo, which spoke about the oracle at Delphi, in Pythia, and you know, where the Greeks would come to get, you know, a message from Apollo, who would speak directly through his oracles. And so, you know, it was referring to him as a sun god. So I was always, throughout my life, I always saw him as like a sun deity. You know, I never really heard of Helios at that point. So when people were talking about him on Amino, I had no idea who Helios was. Growing up, I only heard mostly of the Olympians. I didn't really hear anything of the Titans, you know, growing up. You know, and so I knew that, I mean, even, you know, growing up with Titanic, you know, I never really knew why they called her Titanic until, you know, after, when, you know, I gathered interests in it and grew a really connection to it. And so it kind of went on from there. And I did actually start working with him at one point. He came to me in a dream, which was like ages ago. He came at a time where I was actually forced into eclectic kemetic from someone who worked with him, mainly because she said it was unnecessary for me to be Greco-Roman kemetic, like I wasn't allowed to be because she said so. So it kind of forced me to go in a path I didn't want to go down on. So we'll just end that one there. And but with this stuff that I was actually, this is the soft polytheism part now. So with the stuff I was connecting to Apollo, it appears that I've always seen him and not known it at the time as Eros-Apollo or Eros-Apollon, because Apollo is his Roman name, and Apollon is his Greek name. But if you want to go to Abit the Pagan, in one of our episodes, because I had the word oracle in my head, his name came out Apollon. His name came out Apollon. I didn't mean it. It's just because I had the word oracle in my head, his name came out Apollon. So he is known as Apollon now. And we'll get into the whole what came out with Aphrodite as well. So Pic the Pagan will know what I'm talking about. And so because of the things I was associating with him at the time, which I didn't even know, I was also seeing him as Eros-Apollon, Apollon. So he was coming out, you know, as that, but I never really knew it at the time until today. Until today. So now he's been seen as Eros-Apollon. So that's the soft polytheism thing, and again, all universal as well. So, because at the time I wasn't necessarily seeing him as being universal up until the point of Eros. So that's probably where it wasn't as obvious as it is now. And so, as I've said, he does come into Libra. There is an asteroid called Apollo. There's also asteroid Eros, so he comes into Libra as well. So So that's a bit about Apollo and me and soft polytheism. And I do get reminders about Eros-Apollon. I don't know why, but there's this kind of, I don't know what it is up near my little boy's skull, but there's kind of like these pillars or something going on the layout of them. It really reminds me of his temple at the art in Delphi. I know that Delphi is actually named after his dolphins because he can actually transform himself into a dolphin. I actually did have a dream. I mean, it may not have been him doing that, but I did actually have a dream of Apollo transforming himself into a dolphin because he can actually do that, and which was ages ago. And he can also appear in cloud formations. I know that someone said they experienced him in a cloud formation as well, so he can also appear in that. He can appear in doing lots of different things. And it's not always going to be the same experiences as it was someone else. You may often share the same experiences, but sometimes you can have your own unique experience with them, kind of like your own personal experiences. And it mostly would be something to do with the fact that you wouldn't necessarily see them as that, but they would appear as that. So that would be your own unique special experiences with them, which doesn't need to be the same as everybody else's. It would just be your own special unique experience. And so, as I was saying, so these pillars, or wherever they are, for some reason going on the layout of them, they just remind me of Apollo, of Eros-Apollon, should I say now. I don't know why, they just do. And also when I was at work ages ago, I was washing the cutlery in the back room, and the soap went into kind of like a music symbol, or like a music symbol appeared in it, like a music note. And I went and told someone about this, and she said, oh, do you think that it was from Eros-Apollon? And I was like, could be, I don't know. So yeah, so there were things kind of happening like that. But I would say that is very kind of a popular god, even on Discord, that Pic the Pagan runs, my best friend. He's kind of really popular deity, even on Discord. Quite a few people actually work with him on there. What I would say about his energy is that he's very energetic. There isn't really a quiet moment with Apollo. He's very, very energetic. But with obviously his Eros side, Eros-Apollon, for me as universal, he's also very loving, very nurturing, very caring. And really interested in making yourself feel good about yourself. He's interested in your mental health, in your heart and in your spirit. So he's very much interested in covers areas and makes you feel at peace and at home with yourself, and do self-love care and self-care stuff with him, and things like that. So he is a very nurturing deity, and with him being to do with the sun, he'd be very energetic, very bright, very happy, very summery. Appearing with like a sunflower crown or a rose crown on his head, or like a laurel wreath crown, I mean, it would be really good for him to appear with a crown of sunflowers on his head, because he is associated with the sunflowers, so that would be really cool. And obviously a rose crown, laurel wreath crown. He can also appear naked with no clothes on. So he's very kind of open and free, with his body. He doesn't like to be dressed up all the time, so he just likes to just wander free in his birthday suit, which is completely fine. But that's just Eros-Apollon, that's basically just who he is. He does that. So yeah, this is Eros-Apollon. So these are what I did give him ages ago. I gave him that amethyst crystal, and that, I think it's a rainbow quartz, mainly because the amethyst crystal was way too heavy for me. So I was like, Apollo, you can have this. I mean, it was really, really heavy on me. and I was really struggling to carry it around my neck because it was really weighing me down, very heavy. So I gave it to Apollo and that crystal, so that's what's hanging on there. I actually, this statue I actually bought from the charity shop. It was kind of like a late birthday gift for myself about 3 years ago now. It was like £30 from the charity shop. It's very rare that I find Greek statues in there, but I managed to find this beautiful one of Apollo. So I should say Eros-Apollon. And so it is, and I do have some frankincense burning as well. I did actually say a little prayer. I mean, I don't really pray, but I did for this one, just before the video. So there you go, guys. This is a very special video from my best friend, Pic the Pagan. So this is kind of a dedication to him and kind of like a tribute thing for him. So, well, not a tribute, kind of like a dedication to him. It's a video that I've been wanting to do for a while for him now, but I never really told him up until today that I was going to do a very special surprise for him. So this is it. So I hope you enjoyed this video, guys. And this is to my best friend, Pic the Pagan. Love you very much. And I will catch you in the next one. Bye.